Hello, Claire McCartin. How are
Hi.
you?
Good, good. All good today.
Nice. Thank you for joining me for this Sunday afternoon. And first of all, I'd like to ask you, how do you feel about interviews?
Well, I do love them. Here in Malta, sometimes most of the time, I would have to do them in Maltese. And I am English speaking, so I really have to get the Maltese in my system. But I mean, I do speak Maltese as well, but since I speak English most of the time, I have to get it into my system. But I quite like it. I used to do TV interviews and stuff as well, which I quite like the whole buzz of it, being
Okay,
on TV,
good. Because
makeup.
this is basically not even an interview. It's more a conversand or like tea time, and we can talk about right. Because we created Profty as an artist development company in the first place, and of course this is what we do. And Profty is also a platform where everybody can develop themselves through experience, and it's not always just the experience that people have themselves, but also observing someone else's experience. And this is, I think, very important when people share their stories and can inspire other artists for something that other people didn't think maybe about. That's why I wanted to introduce you to our community, because I think you have quite interesting story as an artist and as a human being. But first of all, I'm interested where you were raised and born, because right now you live in Malta, but I'm not sure if you were born in Malta.
Yes, yes, I was.
Oh, I
I
see.
was, yes, but I don't have a Maltese surname. Well, I do have, but I just changed it. McCartin's my stage name.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So first I got known with my proper name, and my teacher at the time, I don't know if you know him, Joshua Alamu. He's a London vocal coach. He told me, Claire, my God, change it. It's so common. Here in Malta, it's very common. I said, no, but that's my name. That's my name. Then I got to know another Claire Galia. I thought, oh no. Now we're two of us and we're both singers. So I decided to take my mother's name. So my mother is originally from Scotland and from Irish descent. So McCartin is an Irish name, but it's my name too. So I'm more known now for that.
Ah, I
You know?
see. So, how is your family? Your parents are into music, or I know you started your singing career late. We spoke about this
Yes,
behind the scenes.
yes, yes, yes.
But what was before you switched that career? What was your degree? Where you were studying, and what you were
Well, I
planning to do?
started I started piano when I was 8, and I finished when I was 15. I was a bit stubborn, and I decided to stop practicing all those hours a day. Well, in those days, you didn't go to singing lessons. You went to piano lessons or guitar lessons. I chose piano. My mother comes from quite a musical family in Glasgow, in Scotland, and her father, so my grandfather, was quite a famous tenor in Glasgow. And all my aunts sing. They used to sing anyway. They were all in choirs and also sang solos and stuff. So obviously, I get it from there. My father thinks I get it from him, but no. I keep reminding him that it's not from him; it's from my mom's side. He tries to sing me sometimes some things to prove his point, but no, it's from my mom's side. Um, uh, so I stopped piano, and my first career was Russian language. And I started learning Russian in 1987 when I was 15. So basically, that was my first career. And I just found a piano music was on the side.
Mhm.
So it obviously I love music and everything, but in those days it wasn't something you can get money out of. So I just made Russian my career, and I started working for a finance company. And then I started working for another company, the Russian Railways. We were in close connection to the Russian Railways. And on the side, I decided to join a choir. I actually wasn't going to join the choir. I really thought that I didn't have a good voice. And I thought, oh no, like, should I go in for this audition? And my mom told me at the time, well, go for the audition. And if you're terrible, they will tell you. And obviously they didn't tell me. I wasn't that good, really. But I mean, I was obviously in tune. I had a very light chest voice now knowing what it's all about, you know. But they took me in, and from then I started this whole, you know, singing. First, I was so shy. First I was part of the choir. Then 2 years later, I decided to. I started singing lessons, but I started then going in for solo parts. Yes, I was very nervous, obviously, but I decided, you know, why not? Let me try. And if I'm terrible, they just won't accept me. You know, but if you don't try, you're just never going to pass that stepping stone, you know. You need to pass that stepping stone. You need to do little steps to get somewhere, you know. And also you need to do those little steps to know what you want to do, you know. I went to 5 years classical vocal training, and it wasn't for me. I have more of a blues voice, so I don't think I was getting anywhere. And in the meantime, I got to know a guy called Joshua Alamu from London, who was coming over to Malta every month to do lessons, and he was in SLS. And he started teaching me, and he changed my voice within 3 months. So I thought, my God, this is quite a good technique then, you know, because it changed me from being a lighter voice to having a chestier sound and making me go higher in my range. I felt more in control over my voice, you know. So I thought, this is quite interesting. But I was so nervous, you know. I was in class with these young kids, you know, who were so confident of themselves and everything. But anyway, after 2 years, Joshua asked me to become to join the program, to join the SLS program. I was also older than him, you know. I decided, he asked me to go over in 2009 to an SLS camp where I met Greg for the first time. I did a course, well, we started sort of doing some songwriting courses there. And so when I came back, I decided to write my first song. But look how I evolved from, you know,
from the camp.
What the hell? I mean, I knew I'm not really good at lyrics. I prefer the music side of it, you know. So I just, you know, grabbed a guy who, you know, and he writes texts, not really songs. And I gave him my concept, and we wrote the song together. I submitted it for the Malta Eurovision, and it passed. And it passed.
Wait a minute, that was your first song ever, yeah. and you sent it to Eurovision contest and it passed.
But the Malta Eurovision, so yeah. For the contest here in Malta, yeah. And it passed. Out of 200 songs or whatever there was, you know, my little jazz song actually passed. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, it was a jazz song, but because of that, I got known. Even though I came 18th out of 20, and I really didn't sing very, very well on stage, I don't think anyway. But it was a jazz song, and people do remember it to this day because it was a jazz song, the only jazz song. And to be in that concert, I had to be 3 months on TV. So that was great because people got to know me, you know, in the interviews on TV and stuff, you know.
Right.
It was a very good stepping stone. And, you know, and then from then, obviously, I became a teacher and I evolved as a teacher. Now I'm more well known as a teacher, but it's not easy to sing either. First of all, I am older than other people. And nowadays, if you want to if you want to work in a restaurant or in a cafe or in a bar or whatever, they don't give you much money here anyway. So in the end, I prefer teaching, and I prefer, in the end, helping these my students to get somewhere, because they have opportunities. They do have the opportunities. I do sing in weddings, and I'm quite well known for the weddings. You know, that's something which I love. So I get my money from that, and I get my money from teaching. I try to always, whatever I learned, I give to my students. So you have to do a ton of auditions to get past those nerves, and also to get seen. Because you know, like once I was on a board, we were auditioning people for a musical, and someone comes in and they do an audition and they don't get the main part, so they're not in the musical. They just drop out. Why? You know, it is all part of learning. You are part of a team, and why not? You are also important. You don't have the main part, but you're also important in that, you know. So every little experience will help you evolve as an artist, and that is what I try to teach my students. Every audition, a musical, a choir, you know, everything. Go ahead and try everything. What else?
Well,
what did I miss?
I mean, you told your story, but I have some questions. So
Go for it.
you switched your career on 27, right?
No. I started singing at 27. I continued working in contact with the Russian Railways till 3 years ago. But I had my studio on the side. I had 2 jobs all the time.
I see. So 27, you just started to take voice lessons, right?
Yeah.
This is the age when usually people give up singing, and you just started that singing. And you mentioned that it was, you know, you wasn't that confident because you were surrounded by younger people. How did you made it work through the fear and nerves and insecurity? Because, you know, when we getting older, it's not, we're not getting rid of all these fears and, you know, all this stuff. It's getting bigger, actually. And
well, everyone has fears, eh?
Yeah, to be able to start something new at 27, I think you have to have a lot of courage, and but even more, how did you made it work?
I had to have experience after experience after experience, and not be afraid to take that risk of maybe not doing well. You know, because if you might be shy, your voice might not come out right, but if you don't do it, you're not gonna get anywhere.
Right.
What else?
Did you have failures that you remember that, oh, I failed that time and it's stuck in my head like for years? Can you share something?
Yes, I was part of a huge choir, 200 strong choir, which did 10 concerts, one each night for charity. And it's a very famous, the whole of Malta comes to watch. And I messed up my lyrics on stage. They gave me an Italian song. Now I'm fluent in Italian, but I didn't like the song, and I had to learn it. And I just messed up the lyrics. I mean, I had problems at home at the time, and I was worrying a lot about other things. I wasn't really focused. Damn it, I made a mistake with these lyrics. And that's something that I worry about to this day. Lyrics. Yes, lyrics.
But I know a lot of people who deal with the same fear, that they can forget lyrics on stage. And so, you know,
I remember the melody, I remember the riffs, I remember anything to do with the music side, but the lyrics, you know. But I remember songs from when I was young, you know, when I was 15. That's fine. But if I have to learn it, you know, I would spend 6 months trying to learn the song, you know. No. But I mean, I think the problem was that I didn't choose the song. If I choose a song and it's coming from my heart and it's something that I really believe in, then yes. But I was given the song, and I didn't like it so much. you know. Yeah, that's it basically. I try to tell my students that we all have fears. We all, and sometimes I get famous singers in Malta, they're famous here though, to come into my studio to talk to my students because they're very famous and they have done things abroad and whatnot. So these fears, I always tell them, please mention your fears too, just so that they know that everyone from the bottom to all the way up, we all have fears. And how do you overcome them? One of the most famous people in Malta told my students that she hates going out on stage and seeing an audience in front of her like this on a bowl, you know. She prefers them down below.
Oh.
Yes. So she just doesn't wear her glasses or her lenses on stage when she knows it's like that. We all have something, see?
Right.
And she's one of the most famous singers here. So it's good in a way. And I try to tell them, just basically be natural, just be yourself. Even if you fall on stage, just laugh it off. You know, so what? Some people might fall. What can you do? You know, I fell off my stool once on stage. You know, by that stage, I could say, oh, well, it happens to everyone, you know, and I laughed it off. What can you do? You know, these things happen. So just be natural and people will appreciate you being natural on stage, you know.
I think you just said it. Yeah. Being yourself, I think it's the most powerful tool you can use as an artist, as also as a human being. So it's absolutely right. Tell me a few words. How did you pick Russian at the first place as your career? Because I was born in Russia and raised, and part of my life I lived there. And I couldn't imagine who's in the world could choose Russian as a career, especially from Europe, because it's a very difficult language. It's different from Latin languages. It's very difficult grammar, and I can't.
The verbs.
Yeah. So how this happened? Why did you pick Russian?
Why did I pick it? Well, first of all, I like to be a rebel. And I want to do stuff that people don't do. You know, I like doing things like that. So, and at 15, I had the opportunity of meeting a Russian family. And the girl was 15 years old, exactly like me. So we hit it off. And she started teaching. I come from an island where we have different languages all around us. But I could not understand one word of this Russian, not one word. I hated it. So I used to go to her house very often. I stayed listening to her family speaking, and my God, I could never understand anything. So she started teaching me some words like kagdila, tarakan, because it was summer. We had a lot of them. You know, Harasho, whatever. And I still have this paper to this day with the first words. I sent it to her recently. Anyway, and then she started teaching me the alphabet. And then she started teaching me to read, but I couldn't understand a word I was saying. But you know, in the children's books, there used to be the accents. So I was reading perfectly. And one day, I couldn't understand what I was saying, but one day she told her parents, listen to Claire, how she speaks, how she's reading in Russian. She's really good, you know? And I read, and the mother was a Russian teacher. And she told me, Claire, you have a talent. Let's start Russian lessons. So she started teaching me at 15, and me and all my group of friends, we all started.
Wow.
And then she said, the first lesson was, by the 10th lesson, most of you will be out. I stayed. The 10th lesson was the verbs. And, and then, but I continued. The thing is, I continued because it was really interesting. And I had a wonderful teacher. She taught me, she used to try to look for radio stations, Russian radio stations. She and Vika used to dance for me. They used to get packages of Russian food, like chorny hlieb and stuff. And I used to think, what's that, meat? No, this is bread, you know? And I used to, so it was an all-round experience of Russian. It wasn't just Russian language.
The culture.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was just a whole new world. And then I had I had a child at the age of 20, so I couldn't go to university. And at some point, the director of the Russian Cultural Center here in Malta gave me a scholarship to go and study in Moscow. And for 4 years, but I couldn't go because my son was quite young. So I went anyway, just for a few months, you know. And I remember Vera, the mother, told me, Claire, you're thinking it's going to be wonderful. Remember, it's going to be a culture shock. This was 2001. No, it's going to be fantastic. It's something I've been waiting for all my life. No, it's going to be a culture shock. Expect it. No, it was not a culture shock. She prepared me well all those years, because when I got off the plane, I couldn't open my mouth. I couldn't say anything, but I felt I was at home. I felt I came back home.
Wow.
Weird. Yeah. So then anyway, I did 3 scholarships of months here and there. And also my job dealing with the Russian railways, they paid for some tuition, my accommodation, because obviously I was using Russian, so they wanted to help me in some way. So it was quite a fun experience, you know.
Do you sing in Russian?
Sing?
Yeah.
Oh yes, to this day. I am part of the Russian community here, and we do. Obviously, they ask me to sing every now and then, you know. They also help me a lot. If I never need to do a concert with my students, they give me the Russian Center gives me the theater for free, and obviously then I sing, because Dr. Zolina, who was the director of the Russian Culture Center years ago, who gave me those scholarships, now she's passed on, but she used to tell me the only fee I expect is a Russian song. So to this day, I keep the tradition, and I always sing 2 Russian songs for her.
Do you have your favorite Russian song?
There's quite a few, but I quite like, recently I did «Нет для тебя придет весна». I like that one. And in fact, I was supposed to sing it in Moscow last year for the 75th anniversary of the Second World War. They asked me to go, and I couldn't go. And then I also like another one. What's it called again? I forgot. It's by Pelageya. It's not really by her. She did a cover version. I sing it regularly. I have to remember it.
Don't worry. But do you find, because you know we have a lot of artists that we work from Russia, and one of those complaints that they have, that Russian language is not designed for singing, and I feel like they take it as an excuse sometimes. But do you feel like the language could be a barrier for singing?
Why should it be? I mean, I sing, I never sing in Italian, but I sing in Russian, and I sing in Maltese a lot, and I sing in English, obviously. But if it's your language, why don't you sing that? I have people who bring me stuff in Spanish. Once I had to deal with someone bringing something in Japanese, and I don't know Japanese, you know. But I mean, you can still hit an audience, even though they're not understanding what you're saying. And I had to prepare some of my students to sing in Russian, but you know, you have to attract that audience then with the expression in your face, in your vocals, even if they're not understanding what they're hearing, you know. When last year we were during COVID, and during COVID, the Russian Center put up all the time they were asking us, can you say a poem in Russian, all over Malta, you know, any students, any Russians who are here. And once I put up, I had to sing 2 things. Not to sing, I read a poem, but then I said, listen, I'm a singer, so I'm going to sing, you know. Why should I just read? And I sang, I don't know if you know it, it's a poem by Pushkin, Primieti. Ja jechal k vám, živý sny. I love that song.
Wow.
And I sang that one. And the whole of Malta, not Russians, Maltese, they were saying, wow, it's wonderful. And they didn't understand the word I was saying. They said, we didn't know Russian could sound so beautiful. There you go. I hit them as an audience, you know, and they didn't know what I was saying. There you go. Do you know that song?
I don't know this song, but I will check it because it's quite interesting for me to hear.
It's called Primieti. Yeah, some people know it as Ja jechal k vám.
Okay.
It's written by Pushkin, but
right.
I don't know who wrote the music, but yeah, it's lovely. I think it's lovely.
Well, this is something, you know, extraordinary, I think, when you get to know your own culture through someone who is, you know, whose Russian is a second or third language. That's quite brilliant, I think.
Fourth, no.
Fourth.
Because I speak first English, Maltese, Italian, and then the Russian.
Right. Wow. That's
I don't have much practice anymore, unfortunately, in Russian. But you know, I listen to it and I can understand it and I write it obviously and everything. But I don't have much practice anymore.
Right. Well, anytime you need to speak Russian, just
okay.
You mentioned your Russian teacher that she was very good in delivering. So she just didn't give you the grammar. She gave you the whole culture. She really prepared you. Mm-hmm. When did you realize that you met the right person, the right teacher that, you know, gave you the same experience with singing?
Well, I met quite a few on the way. I obviously am quite indebted to Joshua, who I still work with to this day. I mean, now he's stuck in London. He can't come to Malta much anymore, but we are still in contact with each other. And he introduced me to SLS and all the teachers there. So I am quite indebted to him. We have continued to work together. We have created an award, a songwriting award. I have created a songwriting award, and he decided to come on board with it. We help each other a lot. He helps me, I help him. I do his backing vocals for the showcases that he puts up. So I'm indebted to him. But obviously through him, then I met people at SLS. And I think my favorite teacher so far, and the person I learn a lot from, is obviously Greg. You know,
you met Greg in US when you went.
Yes. I did. Yes, but then he also came to Malta. He did a master class some years ago. But I have learned from him too, because through SLS, he used to go, in SLS, we had these sort of weekends in various places. I used to choose London and Rome because I had places to stay. And the master teachers used to go around the world for a whole weekend to teach the teachers in that locality. And that was great, a great time to get to know each other, to learn from each other, to work on each other. You know, that's where I think I bonded sort of with him. But even throughout the years, Greg is always the one to go back to. Even now with Profty, he explains so easily the technique. So then if he explains easily and you get it, then you can teach it, you know?
Right.
I think,
you know, I do adore people like you who've been through, you know, a lot of experience of developing their teaching and singing. You've been in SLS and many other organizations that we're not going to mention right now, but there are tons of them in the world. And when I saw you enrolled to Profty Teacher Development Program, I was really surprised. I thought, like, this person has the whole experience. She knows Greg. She took a lot of private sessions with him. What else you can learn?
No, I take others. I don't even just take Greg. I take things from other techniques. I tried an steel one once. You know, if there's anyone and more someone coming from abroad and using a different technique, I would try it. Why not? I want to see. I want to see what it's all about and how it fares with what I'm teaching. You
Right.
know?
Oh, the reason I'm asking because many people, they get to the milestone and they think, okay, I'm done. Now I can,
I know.
teach and
No, I'm not like that. Oh no, I'm not like that. For example, since I didn't go to university when my son was a little bit older, then I decided to do a course with Berklee College of Music in Boston, and I did that, a 2-year course online every night for 2 years, every night.
Wow.
I used to
Because
put
of the
him to
time
sleep.
difference.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was terrible. In fact, 2 years. 2 years short of 3 months, I had to have a rest. I couldn't do the last 3 months. I was so tired. But I just had a 3 month sabbatical and then I did the last 3 months. But well, I mean, studying is fun, you know. First of all, you meet other people from all over the world. And you're always enriching your knowledge, you know, it's quite interesting. And in this industry, things are always changing, you know. It's interesting to know things about, I don't know, vocal pathology and whatnot. It's interesting. What I find, I don't know if you're going to ask me this question, but I'm going to tell you anyway. What I find a problem with in my students is they focus, for example, on the technique, but then they don't focus on the performance.
Right.
Because let's face it, you can have the best voice ever, but if you don't hit the audience, you're just not going to get anywhere. I tell them, you want people to stay there and not get up and go and buy a beer. No, let me hear the next song. I want to listen to the next song, you know? You want that person in the audience to do that. So they have to work on a lot of expression, again, being yourself, but how do you transmit that? What do I do with my hands? You know, sometimes we are full of expression, but we don't know how to get it out, you know?
Yeah.
I see, you know, here, most of my students are Maltese speaking. I mean, they have these English lyrics in front of them. They just sing and they don't even know what they're saying. They just invent words as they go along. I mean, we are storytellers. You need to tell the story of the song. Be it sad, you're jealous, I don't know, you're happy, you're in love, your heart to transmit it, you know? So.
Yeah, and I know what are you talking about because we face it all the time. Sometimes people can sing in their language and still don't get what they're thinking about, what they're thinking about the story. So it's a common problem, and that's why we are so lucky to have Rhonda Carlson as a performance coach here in Profty because the technique that she brought with her book and with her technique, it's quite brilliant because she created tools that everybody can take and take their performance from zero to something meaningful.
I too work with a performance coach. I'm not an expert in that. I work with a performance coach who comes in to see my students, also the people who are doing their exams, because I teach also vocal exams. She helped me too, because I too, as an artist, need help on stage. Because, for example, in that choir, that year when I messed up the lyrics, 2 years later, they gave me another Italian song to sing. And it had so many lyrics. I thought, oh my God, it's going to happen again, you know? So I grabbed this performance coach and I worked so hard with her, you know? And she gave me little moves to remember the words, you know? And I never faltered once.
Yeah.
I managed. I managed, yes. No, I managed. So yes, I do work with a performance coach. It has to be done. It has to be done. I also create some classes, sometimes for, well, not now, but I used to, for children and for adults. So they have to sing in front of each other and comment and criticize. Yes, at first they're a bit shy to do that, but it's in a setting. I mean, we're all going to criticize each other, but it's there. We do that to help each other. The children are quite good at it. The children are quite good at the drama aspect. They don't mind. They enjoy it, they enjoy it, and they're very creative with their ideas, and anything the performance coach puts forward, they are creative with it, whereas the adults, no. The adults were not too creative in anything. And sometimes I couldn't even do the class because only one would turn up, No, they're quite shy to be in front of each other, I met the performance coach because I'm also the resident vocal coach of a production company here.
So you need this team.
So yeah, I mean, I'm part of a production company, so that is how I got to know her. She's the director. So the last musical we did was The Anniversaries Today, The Addams Family. Wonderful musical. And it was the last one to be performed in Malta last year, the last event before COVID hit. And today's the anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Eurovision contest is such a, big deal for European countries, especially for Eastern Europe, I would say. So tell me a little bit more about your experience, because first, in the beginning, when you said you just applied the song that you wrote, it was your first songwriting experience and you just passed. I mean, it sounds like a Cinderella story, but
believe it.
Because, I just spoke with one of our artists that another day that, they can apply to TV shows like The Voice, American Idol, X Factor, year after year after year, and they never pass, even though they work hard on their technique, they work hard on their performance. What is that trigger that always works?
Mine was luck, I suppose. I think I was just lucky. And it was also probably the only jazz song.
So Be Different is one of those maybe thing.
Yes, I think so. You do have to be different. Well, I have two experiences of the Eurovision, one my own and one with a student of mine, because one of my students actually went to the Eurovision and I went with her. She was representing San Marino. She was Maltese, but she was representing San Marino. And I went to Portugal, I think 3 years ago. Yeah. Obviously, it's not for everyone, but again, it's an experience that if you can do it, go for it. Go for it, try. Now, that girl had tried 8 times in Malta and she never passed. I mean, she got to the final, but 8 times and they never made her win. Never. Even though she was, for example, one year she won the public vote, but no, something was going on. Yeah. Anyway, 8 times. So then when she had the opportunity to go and represent San Marino, she went through a whole competition and she won. So she went. She had that opportunity and she went. Some Maltese people didn't even vote for her, unfortunately. But anyway, and she didn't pass to the final night, but it was a great experience. Yeah, but she tried 8 times. So there you go. You have to try over and over again. Unfortunately, you win some and you lose some. What can you do? I mean, sometimes, okay, for The Voice, for X Factor. Yes, you get seen, but I don't know. First of all, you have to have that X Factor. You have to have something that they're looking for, something interesting, something unique, okay? And also, I think it's a TV show. And the producers decide who's passing, not the judges. Unfortunately, that's what I think. So if my students want to go in for it, yes, of course, I help them with it and everything. But think of it as an experience. Be yourself, enjoy, don't hold back, and make friends, make contacts, make sure you're seen, because even if you don't pass, but you're seen by them, you're seen by the whole of Malta. And that's the experience, just go for it. Because then from that, maybe you get other opportunities, you get other opportunities to sing somewhere, whatever, we don't have, do we have The Voice? No, we don't have The Voice here. We have X Factor, and we had X Factor, and we had Malta's Got Talent. We don't have The Voice, but I have people who go to X Factor and The Voice abroad. Some Maltese people do go there. I mean, I had some students. I had one of my Russian students went to Moscow one. It wasn't a very good experience. Do I say?
You can say.
Sometimes, these are people, these are judges, not the judges who you see on TV, the preliminary ones. They don't know what they're doing. And I remember I had a Russian girl from St. Petersburg, and she wanted to be a dancer when she was younger, and she had a hole in her heart, so she couldn't dance. She had to stop at some point. So then she decided to play the violin. And at one point, when she was, I don't know, 11 or 12, she was in the car with her grandfather and had a massive accident and hurt her neck. So she couldn't play the violin anymore.
Wow. So
she turned to singing. So by the time she went to the X Factor, I mean, they don't know all this. And they put her down so much, So she just stopped everything. So, maybe an adult can take the criticism, but these young teenagers, maybe they can't, so you have to, I tell them, just know your worth, know your value, because it's a TV show. They're looking for something. Maybe sometimes they would want bad singers for the show.
Yeah. Just to be able to kick out someone.
Yeah, so it's not because you're not good, it's not that. It's not because you're not good. The girl who went to the Eurovision also went to these places, and she also got chucked out, and she also thought she shouldn't sing anymore. But in the end, she represented San Marino at the Eurovision, Right. So it's, you win some and you lose some, and that is part of your journey as an artist,
Yeah, but you're right. All these TV shows, they could be, very traumatic for artists. It's very hard.
I have a problem now with students because of COVID, and they're not singing anywhere. They're just like, what are we gonna do? Well, do a course online. You can study piano online. You can study theory. You can write a song. You can do all sorts of things ready for when we open. You can podcast, you can put your videos out on Facebook, you can do all sorts of things ready for that time, not just sit at home, do nothing, It's hard, it's hard. I mean, now especially, I like students who take initiative. I have some people who come, I spent 2 weeks, my lessons are every 2 weeks. I didn't know which song to choose, so I didn't choose any. What? And then I have someone who comes in, I couldn't choose. I have 5 of them today. I didn't know what to choose, That's what I want to see, some initiative, explore your voice. Yeah, exactly. So some people expect it on a plate, and others just go for it, And who is going to be successful?
Yeah.
Who?
Obviously, those who are hungry. Yeah. I have the last question for you. What have you been leaning on during this, uncertain time of COVID?
Leaning on?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I mean, what helped you to stay up for everything?
I mean, to teach.
Everything as a human being. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
I mean,
Um,
I don't know how to, for small island culture was it, but for most of the people, I know how it was stressful to be locked down, to go through, all this experience through the 2020, and we still kind of in the same situation in the world.
well, we didn't have a lockdown ever.
Oh,
We need
that's
one. We
different.
need one now desperately, but we don't have one. We never had one. But we had a lot of measures. So we started, I think last year in March, we had to close everything, close certain things. So I couldn't teach from my studio anymore. So I went to buy a piano and brought it home. So I started doing lessons online. Not all my students wanted to do it online. And some of them didn't even have the money, really.
Right.
And all my foreign students, I had a lot of foreign students, they all left. So I ended up with half my students. What can you do? I started brushing up my piano skills. I opened my Russian books again and started doing exercises. I went for a lot of walks. I live in the countryside here, so I just stayed up here, holed up like a hermit, and I just went walking all the time. I didn't have Sam at the time. Sam came on the 1st of May, so I just walked all the time and took care of myself a little bit more, and that's it. Now I've opened my studio, so teaching wise, it's fine. I'm okay. Yes, you do some measures and perspex and sanitizer and microphone covers and all sorts of things. But I am fine. I'm okay with that. Weddings, nothing. They all got cancelled.
Right.
All of them. I have one in June. One in June. And guess where? In the village up here in the countryside. I don't even have to go far, I just have to walk across to the church. Nothing fancy. That's the only wedding so far this year, but I have plans. I'm not one to get depressed about anything, so I have plans. There's a musical. I hope to do a musical next year or the year after, whatever. We're planning that. And hopefully we get there,
Yeah, hopefully.
Even if you have nothing, you're not performing, you can easily, increase your knowledge of music, ready for that time.
Right.
Ready
Just take advantage of this.
Yes. We have social media. You can easily sing on social media and get your name across,
Yeah. Well, thank you, Claire. Thank you for your positive energy first. Thank you for taking your time and, have this conversation with me. I'm sure your story will inspire some other members of Profty community. And I hope, we can meet one day somewhere in Malta or somewhere else. And I wish you nothing but happiness, health, and success.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.